going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be taking a look at this week's forecast, seeing what the stars have in store for us. So, let's get into it. As always, shout out to all the Libras celebrating birthdays this week. Pay close attention to this energy, as it'll be with you all year. Now, starting off this week, we now have Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. And I always feel like when Mercury goes into Scorpio, specifically for those of us on our journey, it's a pretty active time. Okay, no matter where this transit is occurring for you, whatever house it is, you'll be feeling a little bit more focused or able to channel intense mental energy into this area of life. So if this transit is happening within your fourth house, a lot of fourth house things are going to, your mind is going to be really on them, and you're going to want to direct energy towards organizing or, experiencing a certain layer of focused productivity within that realm. So this can be in terms of, having deeper conversations with family members, understanding, certain dynamics of how your mental and your emotional health is affected by your amount of time you spend at home. If this is, let's say your 11th house, there's going to be a deeper desire to want to have more intimate conversations or connections with others, okay, whether that be in your social group, work group, or whatever. But overall, we can all benefit from going down that rabbit hole, just studying the tendency to want to learn more about the hidden or the taboo side of life definitely increases. Communication wise, it isn't necessarily a time where people are overly expressive, but when they do express, they can express, particular secrets. Others might be more willing to share their secrets with you, or, anything that you've been repressing or harboring inside. It can feel, you could be very relieved by expressing that particular thing. So we got that influence going on. And keep in mind, Mercury is in its shadow period. It will be going retrograde sometime soon within the sign, and then back in to Libra. So I'm going to be working with this energy for a while. But I just feel like it could be fairly productive, and, along with Mars being in Aries, help propel that transformation that we need to undergo. Okay, so after 4 long months of being retrograde, going from Aquarius back into the sign of Capricorn, Saturn will now be turning direct, where it is on track to finish out its long transit of Capricorn. I don't know, since I've been following astrology, like, in the midst of, particularly Saturn transits, in the midst of the transit, you're unable to actually appreciate how you've grown. However, I have noticed that in the last 10 degrees of a sign, Saturn definitely, the story starts to come together. Saturn reveals the lesson, or lets you know if you passed it or not, or you feel the heaviness that you feel at the beginning of the transit does begin to subside, hoping that you have learned the lesson. Now, so this is significant because it's in its own sign. Capricorn relates to so much of society. And then, particularly me being American, and it being America's Pluto return and all of that, it's just so much more significance. So the thing that I'm going to say is that it's a major shift. This represents a major shift. And this shift is going to take us towards the end of the year. Now, things have the ability to improve. But whether or not they improve is on you, the individual. Retrogrades are about taking time to go within and figure out, how can I relate to this energy differently? How can I channel it in another way, in a more beneficial way? Okay, so we've had all this time to really sit back there and process these Capricorn things. And I feel like because of the density of Capricorn energy, we're all extremely aware of the changes that need to be made. So what we should focus on from here on out to the end of the year, or really like, yeah, basically early December, is putting the structures in place. The retrograde was about building the structures that were needed, or readjusting them. Now it's actually like letting the structures that we built, or the knowledge or understanding that we have regarding this area of life, literally apply those principles and sit back and experience the benefits. So as I was just alluding to, Saturn is going to reward those who have done the work. And those who have done the work and those who have done their lessons, you're going to feel a pull towards this next phase of your life or your journey. And that's going to have to deal with, Aquarius energy and working more with others. So I would just say, look within this area. Look at it from many different shades. Where have I become more responsible? What are my responsibilities, and how can I continue to carry these out? And now with that understanding of what my greater responsibilities are, or the newfound structures that I've built in my life, how can I expand upon this and, inject something into the collective consciousness? Okay? So whether you've been growing spiritually, monetarily, in romance, ask yourself, what's next? And how can I use what I've learned during this time to assist me with that? And trust me, for everybody, there is something. So at the same time with Saturn now being direct, and after doing inner reflection, the test is going to come from the outside. You will be placed in a position, and I would say pretty immediately, because Saturn is in this tight square with Mars, where you're just going to have to know what to do or how to proceed. So whatever you want may be right there, but is it actually the correct time to take that thing that is there? So it's themes of patience, it's themes of discipline, it's themes of carrying our weight, the weight of our responsibilities going forward. So yeah, I would just really channel some real Saturn attitudes within whatever area of life this is. Be consistent, be disciplined, and allow things to take shape, and then take advantage of when the opportunity presents itself. All right, so we're moving along here. Then I want to take a look at the North Node, which is now aspecting through a quincunx, is aspecting Pluto. And Pluto and Capricorn. I think this is significant for from the standpoint of wherever the North Node is affecting for you, whatever area of your chart this is affecting, there's going to be a deeper desire to activate Gemini qualities. So it could be learning, it could be through communication, networking. So you want to link up these houses and think okay, how can I use this North Node energy, right? Let's say it's happening in your 5th house, and at this time you're expanding upon your personal creativity or even your social life, right? Even though that's weird during Corona, right? And then you have this Pluto in the 12th. One of the things is that through your personal creativity can be fueled through 12th house endeavors. So it can work out in the sense of like this may be a period of time where you feel more prone towards spending more time alone, right? But then again, you're also torn in the sense of like you want to be social and have an active fifth house life. So is it wherever this is occurring for you, there's going to be this somewhat of a tension, but this is a good tension. This is a tension that I think can lead towards, although it's hard to find balance with the quincunx, ultimately by being aware of the dynamics of the different energies involved that we work on, we just become more conscious of this thing. And in the long run, once Pluto or the North Node picks up a supporting aspect, can put that into more of a focus. Okay, so the way it stands now, it's an awareness. Using that example, like, man, I'm feeling the need to be more isolated or dig into my spirituality a little bit more, but at the same time, I want this, and I know that doing this is going to add to my personal evolution and growth. Ultimately, what you're seeking here is balance. So there's just going to be this interplay. But like I said, that'll be long term for the next couple weeks. That'll be a particular influence. So check that out. Then we have this week, this Thursday, a full moon in the sign of Aries. And I always like the Aries Libra axis in terms of full moons. I feel like they're very revealing, and within the sense that Mars is here also within Aries, it's going to add a lot more motivation. So if you don't know, full moons are a time where we're seeking out balance in two particular areas of life. It's like our wants versus our needs. How we're more conscious of the balance needed within these areas. And with this being Libra and Aries, it's the self, it's our relationship with others versus our relationship with ourselves. Our ability to be an individual as well as coexist harmoniously in partnerships. What I see for this particular moon is there's a need to accept help. With the moon in Aries, we want change. We want to trudge ahead and do what we need to do, conquer our fears, which is great, which is with Mars here in Aries as well. This is the attitude needed, right? But at the same time, what you'll realize is that you need others. You can't do it on your own. In this sense, with Mars still being square to Saturn, trying to do things on your own right now is going to lead to frustration and restrictions. It's kind of like, let's say, like you're lifting something, right? You're moving something around. It's like, I don't really want to bother anybody. I got this. I can do it. And you're trying to do it, and it's just like you're actually making it worse by trying to do it by yourself. So the wisdom here is to know when the assistance of others is needed, or understanding the value of partnership. Okay? And this full moon is quincunx, the sun aspect of it. The sun is quincunx Uranus. And what this does with the full moon, it's already a time of heightened emotions and energy. This can be a very, very restless week. I imagine leading up to this full moon, some are going to have difficulty sleeping, but just an overall need to be stimulated and do things, which can work in our favor because it can propel us towards productivity. But what you want to keep in mind is don't bite off more than you can chew, and still don't try to skip any steps. That's the reminder of Mars and Saturn. Take your time, work diligently, but don't try to do it all at once. So it's gonna be restless, and so this is an action oriented time. Okay, so whatever it is that you have in mind that you've been working towards, you want to keep that same energy, but you don't want to get ahead of yourself, or you don't want to become frustrated because you're not seeing the progress that you want to see. You just have to keep chipping away at it. But going back to this Queen Canucks, not only is it going to make us a little bit more restless, possibly, impulsive, or really like, you know what, I need to change and I'm just going to change now. There's no rush. Look at what changes need to be made, and through others, through being around people, being observative and open-minded, you'll see how to make those changes, or assistance will be provided. You just have to be basically open towards accepting that or being able to receive it, okay? And then overall, looking at the value of our partnerships, okay? In what ways, how am I better on by myself? What areas do I require help? So all types of energies can be involved, from needing a mentor, towards releasing, certain feelings that you've been harboring. It is going to be an intense time, but a very transformative time. Okay, so follow your intuition, and like I said, keep the things that I've said in mind. But going forward, after this full moon, things can towards days after, things can kind of settle in, and the picture starts to get clearer. And there's going to be a moment where, like I said, you kind of feel like giving up, but what you really need to do is just continue pushing through there. In terms of personal relationships, we can realize, or there can be differences in opinions, in ideologies and beliefs. So if you and your partner, we got a debate coming up. Say you're discussing politics and you really start to see, like, you and your partner or someone you're close with views something in a particular type of way. Remain open-minded. Don't dismiss them. Acknowledge what you're seeing, but don't be hasty in the sense of like, oh, I think this person's a Trump supporter, so I'm ending our friendship. Nah, you want to there's a tendency or a chance to misunderstand people if you are being too hasty or impulsive. But you want to also be open towards others' viewpoints, because that's what's representative of the Uranus energy. Being able to be a little bit more open-minded and get out of that stubborn nature of the bull. All right, so all of these are things that you're going to want to pay attention to. But overall, this is going to be a very revealing week. As always, feel free to chime in. Let me know what's going on in your world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do so now. If you need a reading, holla at me. Till next time, peace.